Why marketing attribution gives you godlike powers. Tracking where leads and ultimately sales come from is getting harder by the day. In fact, buyer journeys have become so complex that what used to work is likely not giving you an accurate picture today. But it doesn't stop there. Because when you factor in the desire to help direct sales teams on which leads they should focus on for maximum conversion opportunities, you'd be incredibly lucky if what you have in place is still serving you as best as possible. The reality is that you will almost certainly benefit from reevaluating your entire approach to marketing attribution. And that's because by using the latest techniques and technology, you'll once again be able to give your sales team laser accurate insights on leads. At the same time, you'll be able to provide them with truly priceless insights for who to target and in what order to close more deals with much greater success. To paraphrase Sir Winston Churchill, give sales the tools and they'll finish the job. And sure enough, when you can set the stage for them to effortlessly close deal after deal, those truly are godlike powers. Hello and good afternoon. My name's James Rostance and this is the 414 Live. For you as a professional B2B marketer, whether you work in-house at a company or agency side, or indeed if you are a company executive with a hands-on role in your company's sales and marketing activities. And every week, I speak with some of the greatest and most interesting minds in B2B marketing so that you can directly expand and enhance your professional knowledge so that you can deliver even better results and be more awesome in your job for what you do. And this week, we're diving into the world of marketing attribution. And for this, joining me all the way live from Orlando in Florida, please welcome Mr. Dan McGaw. Dan, good up. Oh, no! I was going to say, please welcome Mr. Dan McGaw, and the second I pressed the button right there, the live link went down. There we go, right. Let's try this one more time. Wow! I think the replay of for this, because the show is indeed live, the replay of the look of sheer horror on my face then when your link went down. Yeah, thank you for that. That's awesome.
No idea.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow. Well, look, that was a great recovery. So let's capitalize on the strength of that. Dan, good evening where I am, but it's good early afternoon because you're 5 hours behind us in Florida, right? Aren't you?
Yeah. And thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to being able to chat, but definitely appreciate getting you a little stressed out there as I just vanished. So thanks for having me here. This is going to be great.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's charge straight into things. This is going to be a great episode, by the way, because a wonderful B2B marketer in New York, Ruth Stevens, she was on the show with us a few weeks back, and she did some great stuff with us, really extolling the virtues of how important it is to keep your data clean for the benefit of better marketing. But what you're going to do today with regard to marketing attribution is going to be a beautiful complement to that body of knowledge. So with all of that said, let's jump straight into it then. And could I start by asking you, how do you like to define marketing attribution?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think the easiest way to really distill it down is where do your customers ultimately come from, and how do you save that data so that way you can use it at a later time? Your marketing attribution, where do they start from? What is your first touch attribution? Where do they come from? So what is your last touch attribution? And then even you have people who do multi-touch attribution, right? Which is all of their touch points spread over, in essence, a linear distribution model for their conversion. So at the end of the day, it's really where did my customer come from? How do they find us is what marketing attribution distills down to.
Wow, straight in there. Could you just elaborate a bit on multi-touch or multi-point marketing attribution? I think that's a wonderful term, but I just want to make sure that we've got that nice clear, first of all.
Yeah, so multi-touch attribution is going to be the ability to track every single touch point of that customer. So yeah, they maybe came from us from Facebook, but then they came to us from direct, then they came to us from email, then they came to us from Google. Being able to track every single one of those touch points is where you get multi-touch, multi-point attribution. And then what you do is layer on different attribution models, whether that's going to be a linear touch, whether that's a time decay. These are different attribution models that you would use to ultimately decide, hey, how much credit do I give to that channel for this conversion? So if they had 6 touch points, naturally you would spread out each one of those touch points towards their conversions. So if 2 of those touch points were from Facebook, but 4 of them were from, let's say, Google, you would distribute the conversion across those 6 different touch points.
Nice. Okay, well, with regard then to marketing attribution, what has changed in recent times? Why is it harder? And equally, if it is indeed, what's more complex about it these days?
Yeah, well, the internet, while it's amazing, it still sucks. It makes things really difficult. The number of channels that we interact with our customers with is just blown up exponentially. And the ability to track things has grown dramatically over the past few years. Whether that's online or offline, we have tons of ways to be able to track our customers. We have more touch points than ever. We have more means of tracking each one of those touch points. So while you might think, hey, we have all these new tracking technologies, it's great. It's actually made it harder because you have so many more touch points that you're able to actually track. So it does make it a lot harder. And then at the same time, with each one of these touch points, how do you store that data in a really, really good manner to make sure that you can report on it later? And I think that's an area of real complexity that people forget to understand is like, you have this data that you have to store. What do you call that data? How do you name it? What is the taxonomy? That's really where things have kind of gone to a whole new level. And it makes it a lot harder to track your attribution and know what the hell is going on.
I really like that as a concept, and in fact, yeah, that was very much the lead into today's show, with the fact that where it's sped up and everything, and the way we were collectively tracking maybe a few years ago, that's now completely changed, and which is why we need you on the show today to give us a bit of a heads up on how to tackle it and actually how to do it better, really. So.
Yeah.
With that as a concept, where is it that a lot of marketers go wrong when it comes to marketing attribution?
Yeah, the first place that marketers go wrong is their tracking, right? So in the simplest form, of course, a lot of companies use what's known as UTM tracking, and that's campaign link tracking. They don't get good data inside of their UTM campaign codes, right? So as an example, if you're driving traffic to your website, you need to have UTMs on the links to make sure that you can actually track where that person came from in your analytics. And, that's the most fundamental place that people really mess up. But people don't have good data hygiene in general. Once somebody gets to your website, having proper analytics to capture where that person came from, and then also pipe that data into your analytics tools, even your CRM or your marketing automation tools. That'd be the other flip side of where people kind of really mess that up. And for you to have proper marketing attribution, you have to save that data of where they came from. What was their first touch? What was their last touch? You have to save that information. And if you don't have that data properly cleansed, it's not going to matter, right? If you have to make sure that you have good, accurate data to lean on. And UTM tracking is a really, really popular one. But at the same time, you've got to have good piping to connect all that data around.
Wow. I was just thinking that as you were saying that. Oh, by the way, could you clarify UTM? UTM is unique tracking. What's the M stand for?
Yeah. So UTM stands for Urchin Tracking Module, and Urchin is what Google Analytics used to be. So Google Analytics, before it was Google Analytics, used to be called Urchin, kind of like that thing at the bottom of the ocean that has all of its little spines sticking up. And UTMs are going to be the little bit of code that you add to the end of URL to make it so that you can track wherever somebody comes from if they click on a link. Just one thing is, don't ever use them on your site. They should never be used for internal links. They should only be used on links that are off your site, driving traffic to your site. There's some cool products out there like UTM.io, which are going to make UTMs really easy to create, make it easy for your team to create as well. But they're the most common tracking thing on the internet, right? Everybody uses them. Every analytics tool works with them.
That's a really good body of knowledge of that. I for years I thought that was unique tracking something. But what was it? One more time. The real acronym. What does it stand for?
Urchin Tracking Module. Urchin. URCHIN for urchin. Little urchins at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. hopefully everyone watching and listening right now will have a great bit of trivia knowledge there for the forthcoming marketing pub quiz next time they're at it, and that's the kind of thing that wins you a bottle of champagne. Right. Okay. So is there anything which marketers are maybe missing out on when it comes to marketing attribution, and specifically how to do it and how most are doing it currently? So yeah, what are people missing out on in terms of what's possible?
Yeah, I mean, most people don't properly save the attribution source, whether that be to their marketing automation tool or to their CRM. So they don't have a first touch or last touch attribution source whenever the deal actually closes. So let's say you're using Salesforce as an example. A lot of people don't save this information in Salesforce, so that way when the deal closes, they know where the deal came from. And it's really, really important to have that first touch and last touch in Salesforce or whatever your CRM is, so you can really, really track those things in the future and know what channels am I going to double down on, what channels am I not going to double down on, and really make sure that you can track that. But there's also a lot of software packages out there as well that make this easy, whether that be using a Visible, whether that's using an attribution app. There are softwares that actually focus completely on giving you better attribution data. So that's definitely another option. But most people just don't even store the data in the first place.
Well, with that said, have you got any recommendations, or could you go through your recommendations for software to help with this attribution challenge?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, naturally, Google Analytics is going to be the best attribution tool that everybody's used. The problem is if you have offline conversions that happen in Salesforce and don't happen online, Google Analytics isn't always going to be able to connect all those attributes together for you and tell you what happens. So there are some products, of course, that you would set up with Salesforce, like an Insight Squared, a Visible. These tools are going to be able to track what happens online, but also see what's happening offline in Salesforce. Because if you have an opportunity that closed won, right, that doesn't happen on the internet necessarily. You can send that to a data warehouse. But Visible, Attribution app are really, really popular tools that you would see you doing this. You also have some software packages that you can put inside of Salesforce, like Insight Squared, or even Full Circle Insights, which are going to give you a better picture of what's going on. But at the end of the day, what we see most companies do is trying to take all the data from all of those different tools, export them out of whether that be Google Analytics, whether that be Mixpanel or Amplitude, also exporting all the data from Salesforce, putting that into a data warehouse, and then trying to run their numbers off of that, because that's going to give you the complete picture of what's going on. But at the same time, having a good data warehouse, having a good BI team is going to be expensive. So it's not going to be something that works for everybody.
Nice. Oh, the acronym you used just then, did you say a good VI team? Was that the one that you said?
BI team for
BI.
business intelligence team. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So what would you say are the best people in the industry doing right now differently to everyone else?
In regards to marketing attribution, or just in regards to B2B marketing?
No, specifically with marketing attribution and how it's used and put to use.
Yeah, honestly, and I can speak for one of our clients that we work with. There's a company called Service Titan. Service Titan is basically the CRM for the trades, right? So their software is literally the operating system for anybody who's putting in like air conditioning or plumbing or electrical. And we've been working with them for quite some time now, and they do an amazing job at tracking every single touch point that their customers go through. They're able to use technologies like Segment, which is a customer data platform, to track all those different things, and then as well as save that in Marketo and Salesforce so they can report on it later. And they also use a lot of Tableau to make sure that they get all that data to a warehouse, report on that later. And I would say Service Titan is just crushing it. COVID has been amazing for their business, helped really blow them up. If you're trapped at home, right, you're going to have your house worked on. So like air conditioning people have been like busy as all can be because like everybody's trapped at home. Like you're going to get everything fixed. So Service Titan would be one company that I can really point my finger at, because I also understand their inner workings.
With you. Okay, so still on the subject of what the best people are doing, what else are they putting to work? And particularly, I'm interested here in how they're helping sales teams. And I really wanted to dig into, what marketers can do and what the best ones are doing that are empowering sales teams and really making a difference to their bottom line sales figures.
Yeah. Well, once you know the marketing attribution of where a company is coming from, that's going to help you be able to optimize and understand where do good deals come from. But even if you optimize for where good deals come from, and let's say that LinkedIn is a really good channel for you, you still need to be able to assess those leads as they enter the system, score those leads, and then prioritize those with your sales team. So lead scoring is another really, really popular thing that we recommend for companies to do. Even when you get this attribution set up, when you know somebody came from a good source, you can give them a higher score, start scoring your leads based upon their behavior, and then that way your sales team is going to focus on that. There's a company called realthread.com, and Realthread is a t-shirt printing company that sells to, they sell big custom t-shirt orders. So like their clients are like Amazon and Dropbox and Intercom. And they were able to take a lead scoring model, and they had thousands of leads coming to them. That was a lot for their sales team to manage. And through using marketing attribution, they can understand where their good leads were coming from, then use the lead scoring to better profile those leads, and only have their sales rep focus on deals that are actually going to close soon, or people that are actually interested in buying. Because as you can imagine, you have thousands of leads. Many people aren't ready to buy today. But by using that lead scoring model in tandem with the attribution, they're able to really focus on the deals that are going to close soon. And that really helped their sales team be more focused and more deliberate about what they're doing.
Okay, so what are the signals or data points even that are being used here to highlight who is potentially a really good prospect, or is very much needing some kind of intervention or attention from sales, for example?
The first thing that I would always point out is behavior, right? So how are they using the website? How are they opening our emails? What content are they potentially reading? Or what ways are they engaging with our product or services in other places, right? So I think behavior, of course, is going to be the best part about it. So just using Realthread as an example, somebody's in the t-shirt building product and somebody has put in that they want to order 1,000 t-shirts as an example. Those behaviors are actually tracked and put into their CRM, so their sales reps can actually see what's going on. So I would definitely say behavior is a huge part of that if you really want to be effective with lead scoring. But you also have the same things as what we would call identity attributes, right? So you could use demographics, so like male, female, age, things like that. But you also have firmographics. So are they a big company or are they a small company? Well, once you get somebody's email with technologies like Clearbit or Full Contact or Zoom Info, once we have that email, we can ping an API and basically ask like, hey, how big of a company, how much revenue do they have, things like that. When we get that API call back and that powers our lead scoring model, well, hell, if we only want to focus on companies that have more than 1,000 employees, that makes it really, really easy because we can now create our lead scoring model to give us 50 points if somebody has more than 1,000 employees. And if somebody has less than 1,000 employees, do not increase their lead score at all. So by having that behavior kind of signal that's coming in, tied with the things that we can know about a company through data enrichment, that really is going to kind of push your lead scoring and your targeting to the next level.
You mentioned a few companies just then. One of them was Clearbit. Could you give us some clarity and so that everyone's completely on board with what those services do and how and why they're plugged in to your tech stack?
So Clearbit, Full Contact, or even a Zoom Info, and there's a lot of data enrichment providers. What they provide us is that once we get somebody's email address or even their phone number, we can ping their API. And as an example, in most of the stacks we build, it's connected to the whole system. We ping their API and say, hey, I know John at AOL.com. What do you know about John at AOL.com? And what's going to happen is they're going to send us back another API call, which is going to have a payload of first name, last name, where are they located, what was their last job title, how many children do they have, what kind of car do they drive, right? We can find all kinds of crazy things out through these data enrichment providers. But you can also find out the firmographic. Where do they work? How big is the company? What is the revenue? How many patents does this company have? How many job openings are at the company? I mean, there's a ton of information that these companies have. And then what they do is they send that information back to us. We pipe it into our stack. We pipe it into our CRM, our marketing automation tool, our analytics. And now this gets added to the person's record in their profile. And these data enrichment providers, I mean, in the United States, it's a lot different than it is overseas, of course. You have a lot more restrictions on GDPR. But at the same time, like, you can still buy data, right? Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can still buy data on your leads and contacts. And that data enrichment is going to make you a lot better at sales.
I was wondering then who might have it easier, if you will, between the States and UK and Europe. So is
for sure the States. It's the wild, wild west here. We don't care about your data at all. We sell everything all the time. It's it's pretty gnarly how we are with your data. So just as a warning, don't become an American if you like privacy.
That's a fantastic soundbite right there. We're pretty gnarly when it comes to data. Don't come to the US if you like privacy.
Yeah, I mean it's so true. So yeah, we sell everything here.
I'm with you. On that point, hey, a regular friend of the show, Arlette Lee's just commented saying she's really appreciating this, and says this is really insightful as always. Thank you. I'll listen to the recording as the Wi-Fi cuts out. Oh, I don't. Arlette, I'm taking that's a localized problem to you. My studio setup here is saying that everything's broadcasting well, so good. Yes, I thoroughly recommend downloading the show afterwards. But yeah, great stuff. Wow, we're going at this at 100 miles an hour, which is 300 kilometers an hour, probably in metric. But yeah, we're covering a lot of ground here. Thank you so much for this. Well, my next question then to pose, now that we've got all that nicely covered, is what would you advise to marketers who would like to step up their game when it comes to marketing attribution, and they would like to start the ball rolling with this, but also crucially implement it?
Yeah, the first thing that you have to do is, really start with whatever your analytics system is, or whatever you're trying to send data into your CRM. You have to choose where you're going to report on this. I think that would be the first thing you have to figure out is, where am I going to report on my marketing attribution? If your business is doing all their sales online, like there's a lot of B2B companies out there where everything happens online. Like the people come in as a lead, they then go through the system, they purchase through a SaaS product. In that case, your marketing attribution, of course, can happen inside of an analytics tool like Google Analytics or an Amplitude or a Mixpanel. So first figure out where you're going to do your reporting. But if you're a sales business where, of course, a lot of the purchases are happening offline and you're tracking in Salesforce, right, you have to figure out, how am I going to get this attribution data into Salesforce, right? Because Salesforce is going to need to know where they came from. And if that's the case, right, how do I make it so that when somebody visits my website, I can save their UTM data, I can save their attribution data, and maybe I get that into a hidden form field. So when somebody fills out the lead generation form, it then pushes that data into Salesforce. A lot of times you have a marketing automation tool that's kind of in the middle there. But I think in either case, right, what is going to be the tool that I'm able to report my marketing attribution data on? Because if you have that data later, now we know which channels are driving deals. And that's what marketing attribution is all about, is what channels am I spending money on or spending time on that are driving deals for the business. So how do you save that data is going to be the first part that you have to focus on.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that said, what are the key elements of success then that would be crucial to a marketer wanting to implement this successfully?
Yeah, of course. I think some tools that are going to make it a little bit easier for you to be able to do that, like using a product like Google Tag Manager, is going to be really helpful for you to be able to try to store that data and then send it to wherever else you need. Having a way to be able to track your first touch and last touch and whatever your CRM is going to be really, really important. Having proper setup of that with the fields. Having a marketing automation tool, which is going to help you be able to track this data and kind of move it around, is going to be really, really powerful. So if you have some of those things set up, you'll be able to save all of that data into your CRM. And then once you are able to report on it, the biggest thing is turn off whatever's not working, right? That's what's going to make you successful, is once you have the insight into which channels suck, stop doing them, right? And focus on the channels that are driving your sales and your revenue. That's at the end of the day what's going to make you successful, is stop being stupid and start figuring out what's working.
It's grounded sound advice. Could I ask a favor on this? Because I appreciate you've name-checked some really good pieces of tech to help with this, and also resources. So would you be up for, after we've done the show right now, to put together a list, and then I'll put that in the show notes that goes with the show, and then also in the comments section, so that everyone can click and check out these wonderful bits of kit and tech. Is that something you could
Absolutely.
You could do?
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I would also say if you go to maga.io, so just my last name plus.io, in the top of our website is a link to get a free copy of my book. If you go get a copy of my book, it's called Build Cool Shit. we mention a lot of these technologies and as well as a lot of these examples in my book. So if you wanted to get a true case study of how you would set up a stack to be able to track your attribution or even your lead scoring, check out a copy of my book. It explains a real world example of how you would set it up, as well as the tools that you would use, and then as well as some of the theories or principles that you want to follow to make sure that you can be successful. So definitely recommend checking out, just go into maga.io and you can get a free copy of the book and kind of move through that process. That's going to help you out as well.
Nice. Well, given that the overall promise of the show today is basically to give marketers godlike powers because of marketing attribution, what is it that you would like for everyone watching and listening to have as a core takeaway from this week's show?
Well, I think when you think about marketing attribution or even multi-touch attribution, I think an interesting thing that people always think about, and I love the show title and the fact of giving you godlike powers. I think some people think that once they have marketing attribution or multi-touch attribution, like the holy grail is just going to fall in their lap and everything's going to work out, right? And really, I think managing expectations in regards to what these are going to be able to do is really straightforward. At the end of the day, marketing attribution and multi-touch attribution, what they're good for is telling you what to stop doing and what to do more of. So it's kind of like a compass, right? If something's not working, stop doing it. And that's the reason why you use marketing attribution. There's old adage that it's like, hey, listen, I know 50% of my ad spend is working and 50% is not. If only I knew which 50% was, right? So like, with marketing attribution, you can actually get to those answers. So the whole point of this is to optimize whatever you're doing from a marketing perspective that's driving sales and to stop doing which sucks. It's not some holy grail. There's not some mythical creature that's going to jump out and help you out. Just realize what's not working and stop doing whatever's not working. It's that simple. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that people always miss. They think there's going to be this like special pot at the end of the rainbow, but it's really... no, you just know which direction to not head anymore.
Perfect. As you were finishing up on that, Paul Simon Mackey, a regular friend of the show, he was giving his endorsement and I guess enthusiasm with that for the lead scoring model. Thank you for that, Paul Simon. Wow, Dan, this has been super helpful. I mean, wow, we've covered a lot of ground in the show. And in fact, I think this does actually hold some sort of record right now for the amount of content we've covered in actually a short time. 45 golden minutes of it for this week. Dan, it would be good. You've already mentioned actually how people can get in contact with you. So can you do your web address one more time? Because I thought the offer of the book was pretty cool. So your web address one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to maga.io to get a copy of the book. So MCGAW, same as my last name. And if you want to test out something that's really, really fun, I know that much of your audience is probably in the UK and maybe this won't work. But I can also, you can have some fun with a text bot that will actually help you get a copy of my book. So if you were to pull out your phone and be able to text, if you just went and texted a number 415-915-9011. I'll say that again. It's 415-915-9011. And you texted the word MARTECH to it, so MARTECH. That will actually collect all of your information over a texting bot and actually be able to send you a free copy of the book directly from the texting bot. You'll have to do a quick confirmation on the website, but we'll give you something else that's really, really fun to play with. And a cool part about that is that's actually built into our entire lead scoring model as well, right? So like, you definitely want to figure out unique ways to engage your customers to kind of push them down that funnel. So I would definitely recommend to check out the text bot as well, because it's a lot of fun to play with.
That sounds like some pretty cool marketing tech there, and beautifully integrated to your tech stack. Love it. Well, Hey, look, Dan McGaw, live from Orlando in Florida this Thursday afternoon, evening. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was great being here.
Awesome. And indeed, if you've enjoyed this show once again, then if you have not already, then here we go. Web address on screen, www.the414.net is where you can subscribe for future episodes. So what we do is send out an email every week with the latest episode, a brief rundown of what you'll learn from it, and indeed the link to the forthcoming live show that week. So www.the414.net to subscribe to the show if you haven't already. There we go. Well, the 414, it's for you as a professional B2B marketer, for you to directly expand and enhance your professional knowledge every single week, where I get to speak with some of the greatest and most interesting minds in B2B marketing to help you do just that. All right. Well, my name's James Rostance. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you here same time next week.